Hey folks, welcome to your Summer 122 class. I'm so excited to be your instructor. Thank you for taking this class. I love teaching this class and I love summer. So I promise I won't overwork us. My classes do not have busy work. Everything that we do is meaningful, it's real, it's applying ideas, right? We're not just getting into theory, we're actually applying everything that we learn. So first things, go to D2L, right? Our course page should look just like this or very similar to this. I have three classes this semester. So the first thing you'll see is our announcement I sent out just welcoming you to the class. So take a look at that if you didn't already see that. And then, as you can see, go to content on D2L. And I've set up our course as a weekly view, right? I've had students tell me that modules are a little confusing. So I do a clear week view. So you'll see on to the left, you have your course orientation and resources. Then you have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, all the way to the final week. Okay, so let's start with course orientation and resources. All right, so you have a few items here. You've got that welcome message again. And then you've got some three short little readings on ungrading or alternative grading. So I'm proposing a alternative grading system for this class. I've worked with a lot of students and teachers over the years, and I've gotten to this point of seeing that grades can really dampen or depress learning. So people often learn more for the extrinsic, right? Oh, I want an A rather than, oh, I'm curious. So I want to get us back to this place of, I'm here because I'm curious, okay? And, what does it mean to ungrade? It means you're going to assess yourself. We're going to do a couple, 2 or 3 self-assessments throughout this short term. You're going to tell me what your grade is. And then you're going to show me, right, your learning, right? You can quote from your papers to prove that, look, I learned. This is what I learned. This is how I learned. This is how I went from A to B, right? This is how I moved, right, in my learning. That's it in a nutshell. You're gonna self-assess. And folks, evaluation and self-assessment, these are really critical skills for any discipline, being able to evaluate objectively like a scientist, right? Oh, what did I learn? Right? That is a crucial skill. So you can go through these sources on ungrading, alternative grading, see what this is all about. So make sure you sort of start there. We have a discussion question about this. I have this really provocative reading, this link to A Case Against Grades by Alfie Kohn. So take a look at that. I love this, this opening salvo. I remember the first time that a grading rubric was attached to a piece of my writing. Suddenly all the joy was taken away. I was writing for a grade. I was no longer exploring for me. I want to get back. Will I ever get that back? Right? Back to that curiosity, that sense of discovery and exploration. Right? So this is a great summary of research on grading. Right? There's a lot of good research that's laid out here on the effects of grading. Essentially, grading is relatively a new phenomenon. It really took off in the 30s and 40s, right? It has not been around for hundreds of years. This really came to fruition and solidified in the 40s in America. Before then, right, things were very much self-assessment or process letters, or right, if you were in the university system, which was very sexist and right, only certain people could go into college and university. You basically assessed your own learning. So we're going to go back to this idea of, grades are a new phenomenon, and all of the research, right, goes through the research here. It gives a quick little summary, is that grades depress learning. Grades really shut down this inner motivation to learn, to discover, to be curious. So go through a little bit of that. See what you think. I'm really curious to hear what you say in the discussion. Our first discussion question is about, so what do you think? What do you think about ungrading? Alternative grading strategies. Okay, and again, right, you will self-assess. I will, to be clear, right, and I'll just sort of show you this. Um, Ungrading does not mean I am not giving you feedback. In fact, I'm giving you like more feedback than you'll ever get. Um, I'm really known for giving a lot of feedback and responding to student writing, right? So don't think that, oh, grades, right? Not grading doesn't mean I'm getting feedback. I will give you lots of feedback. You will use that feedback to revise, okay? And then at the end of this term, you will basically tell me what your grade is and prove it by quoting from your writing, right? Like, oh, look, I learned how to write a claim of policy. Here it is. I learned how to write an arguable claim. I learned how to use a reliable source. Here they are, right? So you're just going to prove what you learned. And that's sort of the rationale that you make for your grade. Okay. So yeah, right. I love this reading that I give you, right? Ungrading equals starting by trusting students, right? It's doing less harm. It's transforming power dynamics. So go through this. This is a movement. Ideally, this will trickle through higher ed, trickle up, trickle down, whatever you want to say, in the next decade. We have a lot of instructors at Red Rocks who do ungrading, from the math department to English, right? Many departments are doing this. I hope, that this is 100% movement, in the next 10 years, that all of your classes will be based on this. But, there's a lot of pushback. And so, yeah, I'd like you to enter this debate in our discussion. Like, what do you think of this? Okay, so that's ungrading. And again, I'll give you lots of feedback. So go through that. Then you have two syllabi. I give you different versions of them, and I do this for a very specific purpose. The syllabus has become this sort of legalistic, bureaucratic document, right? It's sort of crushing. So here, I give you a really simple one-page visual infographic, right? We'll talk a little bit about genre and form and format, right? The infographic is very persuasive. It's very appealing. People look at it. People listen to an infographic. It catches our eye, it catches our attention in a way that a 10-page syllabus may not, okay? So I often ask students like, well, what genre or what form should something be in, right? How can we best persuade people depending on the mode or the form that it's in, right? Is this catching your attention more than a 10-page textual syllabus? So I love that question about genre and form, right? So I just think the syllabus format has become really burdensome and not very welcoming. So I want to start with this more fun version, right? This just gives you like all the simplified things in one page. And then, you can go back and look, and you should definitely look at the full syllabus, right? This is, the 8-page version. But this has all of the information, all of the detailed specifics that you definitely need. So take a look at both versions, right? Be inspired by the first one and then get all the information from the second one. And I set the second one up as it's a newsletter, right? So I wanted to put it in a newsletter format because a newsletter is more fun, it's more welcoming. Schools use these, places of worship, synagogues, temples use these to just put out information. Nonprofits use the newsletter format. So it's a much more inviting format than, just the syllabus, the traditional syllabus format. So take a look at that. It has all my information, and it goes through everything. If you want to know about me, you can read about me here. Yeah, okay. So that is ungrading, alternative grading, and the syllabus. So then click on week 1, right, on the left-hand side column, and you'll see, oh, here's our readings for this week, right? This means read this, read this, read this, read this. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 short readings, right? I promise you won't, this is just a couple or a few hours of work for this week. This week, we're just having a discussion. We'll start writing paper 1, essay 1 next week. But this week is really the assessment, it's a self-exploration, it's a discussion of how we use sources, okay? So take this fun quiz on sources, read Media Diet, read The Crap Method, read Hip Hop Therapy, and I'm asking you to apply these ideas on sources to this reading on Hip Hop Therapy, right? So apply these ideas on sources to this actual source. So then go to the discussion after you've read those sources, and I want you to reflect and engage these ideas. I want you to apply these ideas that we've learned, right? This class is all about applying ideas, right? Putting them on, making them live and breathe. So first question, what are your thoughts on ungrading, right? Tell me, what do you think? Then I ask you to find a source, right? Engage this idea of what's a reliable source. Apply this crap method to this short reading on Hip Hop Therapy, right? Do you think it's a good source? Why? So work through that. That should take you about an hour or so. I'm asking for about 200 to 300 words. That's a little less than a page, right? 250 words is traditionally like a double space page. So, right, spend about a page, double space thinking and responding to these ideas. Okay, so that's your major lesson this week, right? Is thinking about sources, applying these ideas. And again, next week we start writing our first paper. We'll have 3 themes for this class. My students have chosen these themes most frequently throughout my teaching. Our first essay will be on hip hop. Then we'll write about some science fiction, and then we'll write about TV and the TV shows that we're watching. We'll make arguments about all of these. I'll show you how to make claims of policy, claims of definition, how to enter a conversation. I'll show you how to make a problem statement, right? You have to find a problem with a TV show. That's where an argument begins, with a problem, right? I found a problem. I've watched this show, right? Is Euphoria, is it reinforcing like all this drug culture, or is it critiquing it, right? Or is it just like voyeuristically like taking pleasure in looking at drugs? Like right? We'll find a problem with your TV show, whatever you're watching or have watched. Okay, folks, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, please email me, and I'm always happy to meet via Zoom. Just let me know some times and we'll meet. Okay, thanks, folks. Talk to you later.